So as we're going through this conversation, I want you to think about the psychology of a listing appointment. You're meeting with a buyer, you're meeting with sellers. They want to sell their home. They're interviewing real estate agents. You're one of the agents you're interviewing. In other words, it's not a come list me, you're competing. And I want you to think about that conversation from the perspective of what are they looking for? What do you need to do as a real estate agent to be the agent they choose? All right, you have a couple different options. You can go in and sell and tell, which most real estate agents do, or you can be a consultant and ask questions and take time to truly understand what's important to them. Look for pain points. Look for opportunities where you can provide a solution. In other words, there's an obstacle between where they are and where they want to be, and you have the solution. That's one of the ways you're going to earn the opportunity to be their agent. Now, the 8 words, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 bullet points that I want you to write down are gratitude, expectations, needs analysis, prioritize needs, and trial close. I need to go turn something off. I'll be right back if somebody wants to repeat those for everybody in case anybody didn't get them. 30 seconds, I promise.
Gratitude, expectations, needs analysis, prioritize needs, and trial close.
Ariana, that was awesome. You nailed it. You're my new favorite. All right, I also want you to pay attention to tonality. I want you to pay attention to body language because all of this is important, right? If I started the appointment off with Nathan, thank you for meeting with me today. It's always a privilege and an honor to meet with a potential seller and discuss the possibility of representing them in the sale of their home. Yeah, not so good, right? You're like, okay, I'm done with this guy. All right, so pay attention to that. Now, here we go. And remember, I don't have everybody on my camera, so you can't just raise your digital hand. Or let me put everybody on my camera. There we go. And you can raise your digital hand and I'll stop. Know the script well enough I can get back to it, okay? All right, so Randy, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today. Whenever I meet with a potential seller, usually ends one of 3 ways. And today's appointment will probably end in one of 3 ways. Either 1, you're going to understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer and you'll hire me, which is awesome. By the way, it's awesome for both of us. And I'll get to that in just a little bit. And the second thing that may happen is you may not hire me, and that's not so awesome. And again, it's not awesome for me, of course, but it could also be not so good for you. And I'll get to that in just a minute as well. And then the third thing that happens occasionally is I may choose to turn the opportunity down. Now, Ariana, you may be wondering why I would choose to turn the listing down, right? I mean, all real estate agents are pretty desperate. They just want to put a sign in your front yard, right? So I think you're going to like the answer. You see, if I feel that a seller has a goal or an expectation that I can't meet or exceed, I'd rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. Now, because I know you're meeting with other real estate agents, I also know that you're going to meet with somebody who desperately needs to take your listing. And they're going to tell you anything you want to hear just to put a sign in your front yard. Now, Kelly, I'm not that agent. Don't take this the wrong way, please, but I don't need your listing. You see, if I did, I would tell you anything you wanted to hear just to get a sign in your front yard. Now, I do want to work for you, and that's why I'm here. And my promise to you is I'm always going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm never going to tell you something that you want to hear just so you hire me. How are we doing so far? We good? Cool. And in order for me to know if I can meet your goals and exceed your expectations, I just need to ask a couple of questions. So Randy, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not good and 10 being awesome, tell me what needs to happen in the sale of your home for you to feel the experience of selling your home with me. Was a 10?
Well, John, I need as much money from this sale as I can get. I need to walk away with at least $300,000 from this deal. That would make it a 10.
Okay, so 300,000 net profit from the sale of your home would make it a 10. Is that correct, Randy?
Correct.
All right. Tell me, what would that do for you?
Well, that would give me an opportunity to buy my next house. So I need to get this one sold in order to move into my next home.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, Nathan, if we could accomplish a second goal, what's next?
You know, John, I just do not like last minute surprises.
Okay, so no last minute surprises.
No.
Give me some examples.
You know, in my experience, when a professional or a person, when they bring me surprises, it's just an indication that they're just not really fully prepared. So I just want to make sure that, you know, if we do decide to work together, that I feel confident that you are an agent that's fully prepared and really understand the process of selling my home.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Now, off script, I'm writing notes, correct? If I'm sitting at the kitchen table with you, you see me writing notes, okay? I know on Zoom you don't get that. You get the top of my head and you're like, what is he doing? And I'm sitting at the table with Nathan, I'm writing notes. Now, what am I conveying by writing notes? Again, we're off script. This is me, the teacher, you, the student. I'm asking you, what am I conveying by asking questions and writing notes?
It shows
Listening
that
and
you're
understanding.
listening and you're
Okay,
paying attention to what they're saying.
Shoshana, I love that we got multiple people talking. I'm going to go to Shoshana first.
It shows that you're listening and you're acknowledging what they're saying because you're writing it down so you remember it.
Okay, good answer. What else am I conveying by asking questions and writing notes?
That you actually care what
That
their
I-
goals are.
I care. Okay, good answer, Kelly. You're right. And what else?
That it's important to you.
It's important to me. Okay. Think back to what I've been teaching you for the last 6 months. What else am I conveying? What are the 3 things that every seller is asking themselves about you?
Can
That
I
they
trust
you?
you?
Clarissa,
I'm sorry. Can they trust you? Do you know what you're doing? And oh, there's a third one that I
Care,
guess.
care. All right. I'm conveying, good job, Clarissa. I'm conveying that Nathan can trust me. I'm conveying that I care about Nathan by asking questions and taking notes. I've accomplished one huge goal on the path to getting to being the realtor of choice. I'm conveying I care about you. You can trust me. All right. Kelly, if we can accomplish a third goal so that this would be a 10 plus experience, what's next?
So I would like to sell it in the shortest amount of time. I don't want to pay 2 mortgages, so 30, 45 days would be great.
All right, so if your property is under contract in 30 to 45 days, that would be a 10?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think you shared with me why that's important, but tell me again, what does getting your property under contract in 30 to 45 days do for you?
Well, I wouldn't have to pay multiple months of having two mortgages, of course. And I want to get to California so I can enjoy the sunshine.
Love it. Okay. Now, Gina, if we could nail one of these goals, so what we have so far is net $300,000, and that's important because we need the equity to buy our new home. No last minute surprises. We don't want lack of preparation, and it's important to you that I'm fully prepared, right? And then the third goal that you shared with me is to get a contract within 30 to 45 days, because you don't want to have to pay two mortgages and you want to get to California and enjoy the sunshine. Now, if we can nail one of these goals and miss the other two, my goal is to meet all three, of course. But if you had to choose, and I'm asking this question because there will come a time in the process of selling your home where you're going to have to choose, or you may have to choose. If you had to say, this goal is my top goal, which one is it?
It'd have to be time because of not wanting to pay the two mortgages and getting this property sold as quickly as possible.
All right, so what I'm hearing you say, Gina, is if we had your property under contract in 30 to 45 days, so that we don't have two mortgages and you can move to California and enjoy the sunshine, and you netted less than 300,000, and there might be a few surprises, that would still be a successful sale.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, cool. Now, Charlene, what's the second goal? What's second most important to you?
Netting 300,000.
Got it. All right, so if we had your property under contract in 30 to 45 days, so that you're not paying two mortgages, you're moving to California, soaking up the sunshine, and you got a little less than 300, and there's a few surprises, that would be a successful sale.
Yes, that would be.
Okay, cool. Now, Ariana, if I were able to demonstrate that I'm the right agent for the job in order to achieve these goals, would you hire me today?
Yes, definitely. If
Cool.
I can get all those things, yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome. Let's get started. Now, if Ariana says no, what's my response? Let's get started. Understood. Let's get started. It's not awesome, even though I've said that before, it really isn't awesome. So I understand, and let's get started. And I understand let's get started is just a transition statement to go to the next step. And the next step is, how are we going to satisfy their needs? In other words, what's our marketing plan? What do we do that makes us different? What's our UVP? What's our unique value proposition? Why should Ariana hire me? What makes me different than all of the other real estate agents that she's going to interview? What is my plan in order to get these goals accomplished? It should be in writing. It should be a presentation. It should be something that you can hand to them that they get to keep. It can be PowerPoint. That's fine, but they don't get to keep the PowerPoint. So you should still have something that you're going to hand them when you leave, whether they hire you or not. They have in writing, this is what makes me different.
What I have used, sorry.
No, I told you to interrupt me.
I have a plan of action. It's like just a 2-page plans of action for my listings, and that's what I give them usually. Plan of
Ariana,
action for the property.
yeah, mine was 1 page. Okay.
Oh, okay, mine's too.
So it doesn't have to be a book, although in today's world with technology and marketing, ask yourself the question, is somebody going to outdo me here? All right. And I don't want the seller to choose somebody else based on a fancy marketing presentation. If I can make it better, I'm going to. If I can make it the best, I'm going to. Now, there's 4 or 5 different real estate companies on my screen right now. You know how I feel about this. Honestly, I don't care. I care about you guys. Look at the marketing that is provided by the company that you're in business with. Leverage the support you have in order to create a dynamite presentation. When I say presentation, I mean something that you're handing to them that shows them. It doesn't just tell them, but shows them this is what I'm going to do to market your property to the right buyers. I would really focus on that because there's a big difference between attracting buyers and attracting the right buyers. And it's part of my unique value proposition is to be able to explain to the sellers the difference between attracting buyers and attracting the right buyers. I'm also going to have information inside that marketing package that I leave that explains how price plays a part in this. That price is one of the most powerful marketing tools that we have. And there's a big difference between pricing a property at $695,000 and $705,000. It's only a $10,000 difference in price, but it's you're marketing completely to 2 different groups. All right. And you have to be able to convey this in a way that they understand it. It's a big part of how you market. All right. Once we go through satisfying their needs, the next step is let's talk about strategy in order to get your home sold in 30 to 45 days so that you can move to California. Now, where do you think I'm going next? What did I just transition to? In the real estate world, what would they call this?
Your CMA.
Yes, exactly. And I didn't because I want them to be crystal clear that this is not a conversation about what your home is worth. This is a conversation on the right strategy to get your home sold in the next 30 to 45 days so you can move to California and Nathan to get you $300,000 net for your home or as close to it as possible. Now, if the market says we're not going to net 300,000, how do we handle that? My answer is, as we're going through the strategy to get your home sold in the next 30 to 45 days so that you can move to California, be in the sunshine, is we're going to look at the data, and the data is going to tell us the right strategy. Now, as I'm looking at that data, Clarissa, if the data is telling me that net 300 is an unrealistic goal, go back to expectations. One of 3 things typically happens when I meet with a potential seller. Either 1, they hire me, which is awesome, or 2, they don't, which isn't so awesome. And 3, I may choose to turn the opportunity down. Now, if the market is telling me that we're going to net less than $300,000 and Nathan's dug in his heels and it's 300 or I'm not selling, then at this point, we're turning the opportunity down. It's a takeaway. Nathan, I understand that $300,000 net is a goal. However, I'm not seeing it. And I'm looking at the same data you are. So if you could, please show me how we're going to net $300,000. Now, one of the things that I learned from Chris Voss and reading Never Split the Difference is when that seller just keeps coming back to, I have to net 300. I'm sorry, but how are we going to do that? I'm sorry, but how are we going to do that? he goes back to, it has to happen, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but how are we going to do that? Keep putting it back to the seller to tell you how you're going to net $300,000 on the home. You don't need to tell them they're not. You need to help them self-discover that they're not.
So
Now,
I
if
have
we
a
get,
question. I have a question.
go ahead, Gina.
At what point do you do a seller net sheet? Because I have experience where sellers thought one way about what they were going to get. And then when we did the seller net, they were like, oh my gosh, that's actually more than what I thought, because they never actually looked at the numbers. Or in maybe Nathan's case with the 300,000, it would show them that it just wasn't possible based on the data. But at what point do you show them?
Good point. And we skipped over it. So it was part of the strategy to get their home sold in 30 to 45 days so they can move to California, be in the sunshine, and not pay 2 mortgages. Now, when you say seller's net sheet, different strategy for everybody here, right? Gina, I'm just talking to you since you asked the question. I never went in with a prepared net sheet that showed them this is what your home is going to sell for, minus commission, minus your mortgage, minus prorated taxes. There's your net. I could do a net sheet in 30 seconds. I could do it on a piece of paper in 30 seconds. So Gina, the market says X, at X minus fees, I don't say real estate commissions, minus fees, minus closing cost, and every state has different closing costs, right? Okay, so I know in Florida what our closing costs are. I know doc stamps, for example, are 70 cents on every $100. I could do it in my head. It's easy, but I'll do it on paper. Here's what your net looks like, Gina. Now, you're right. They actually made the number they have in mind that they need in order to net 300 could actually be lower because they've calculated these numbers incorrectly. So good news is we don't need to sell for 350 in order to net 300. Those numbers came out of the air. Don't write those down. All right, now, once we've agreed on a price, once Nathan says, yeah, I see, I get it. I guess if I net 275, I'm still good. I'm still moving to California. Once we've gotten to that point, then transition to close, which is, are you ready to get started? Now they're either going to say yes, no, or I don't know. Yes, start filling out the paperwork. No, I don't know, 1 to 10. So Randy, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, you don't like me at all, you can't wait for me to leave. Out. If you've seen me do this 1,000 times, you've seen me do it just like that 1,000 times. I'm using humor. 1 being, you don't like me at all and you can't wait for me to leave. And 10 being, I'm the right agent for the job. Where are we? Now, side note, and for humor, I used to say on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you don't like me and you can't wait for me to leave, and 10 being you like me. And I stopped saying that. And I'll tell you why. This is a funny story. So I'm sitting at the table, husband and wife, right? And I asked that question. He's paying attention. He's participating. She leans in, looks at me and says, I really like you. I'm like, okay, that was weird. Not doing that one anymore. So it became 1 being you don't like a thing I said, and 10 being I'm the right agent for the job. Where are we? Now you get 8 or 9. What would it take to make it a 10? I don't know. I understand. If you did know, what would it take to make it a 10? Don't be surprised when you get an answer. You're going to get an answer. Your commission's too high. I don't like the price. I have other appointments. And I'm just not going to make a decision until I meet with him. Whatever it is, it's the objection. Isolate. Other than my commission being too high, or other than price, or other than you have an appointment tomorrow, would I be a 10? Yeah, John, you would be a 10 if it wasn't for those. Cool. If I were willing to reduce my fee today, would you hire me today? Yes. If you didn't have an appointment tomorrow, hypothetically, if you didn't have an appointment tomorrow, would I be a 10? Yes. If I was willing to list your home for $650,000, would I be a 10 today? Yes. Cool. Now overcome the objection, go back to close. All right. That was 30 minutes. We recorded that. I'll send it to you. I hope it helps you guys. Give me questions, give me ahas. Tell me what you're thinking.
So asking the question, what would make this experience a 10 for you? I went on a listing appointment the other day and I didn't get it. And I felt like that would have been such a great question for me. So,
yeah. So what I'm hearing, Shoshana, is you learned. You learned from the experience. You're going to be better on the next appointment.
yes.
The military has what they call AARs, which stand for after action reviews. And one of the things that I would ask myself after every appointment is, what did I do really well? What could I do better? What could I have done that I didn't do that would have gotten me the listing? What will I do different next time?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah. I don't know of anybody that's doing this today, and I'm not even sure that I would advise you do this today. But when I was first getting started in real estate, I was learning from other real estate agents, right? And one of the things that I heard was real estate agents would take a tape recorder and they would record the listing conversation between them and the sellers. Now, the reason they did that, what they told the seller, was so that they wouldn't miss anything that was important. They could play the recording back later to make sure they didn't miss anything. Now, would I do that today? I don't know. What I'm saying, though, is it would be a great opportunity for you to go back and listen and see if there was anything you missed, a blind spot possibly, that you can learn from for the next time.
I saw something yesterday, and I don't remember where I saw it. I'll have to go look, but it was an app that basically did the same thing. It wasn't recording the seller, but it was for your own personal use to listen to your tonality and whatnot. So if I find it, I'll share it in the group.
Yeah, please do. I'm laughing, Kelly, because I knew when I said tape recorder, you guys were going to go like, John, you do know it's 2023, right?
Actually, I have one and I use it for myself to role play. I practice so I can hear my tonality. It's a little one, but it's really useful.
There you go. All right, guys, I've got 9:33. I'm going to hit stop record. That'll be a wrap for today.